Is it me now? Good morning. Wow, there's a lot more of you than I expected. Y'all came in out of the rain. That's sweet. Okay, I have to say this. Pat, thank you for that meditation. And the song was gorgeous. And so I'm just going to say this now. The bling, this is not bling. This is the God energy coming through my feet and my eyes. Coming to be present with you. Seriously, I mean, if you really stop and think about it. So I'm real excited about being here. It was kind of interesting when I was contacted about speaking this Sunday. It was not my scheduled speaking. And so I know that a title is needed, and so there was one on my heart, and I put it out there to Ingrid, and then I didn't realize it was Palm Sunday. So yeah, it says middle way, and we're going to make it all work, so just hang with me. So I'm real excited about Palm Sunday. I didn't understand it as a child. It was all about getting the eggs and that big old Easter bunny that was scary. And the little patent leather shoes and the gorgeous little hats and dresses that we got to wear and dress up with and had to sit still all day until we got to change clothes and get the Easter eggs. But the understanding of what it really meant scared me. I don't know about you, but from the traditional background that I came from, when you walk in a church and you see that Jesus that we love and who died on the cross for us and his hands are nailed into wood, and it's kind of scary for a kid, I would think. So my concept of it was not real loving at that point in time. But as I studied more and as I began to understand it more clearly in the metaphysical explanation of what it's all about, my heart opened up to the concept, and I'm real excited about being able to share that with you today. Now, there was one thing that I was trying to find that I could share with you that would really grab hold of what that meant for me. I mean, what that really would entail, that I could be able to be that in my life today. And I found this little story, so I'm going to share it quickly. A wise woman who was traveling in the mountains found a precious stone in a stream. The next day, she met another traveler who was hungry, and the wise woman opened her bag to share her food. The hungry traveler saw the precious stone, and he asked the woman to give it to him. And she did so without hesitation. The traveler left rejoicing in his good fortune. He knew the stone was worth enough to give him security for a lifetime. But a few days later, he came back to return the stone to the wise woman. "I've been thinking," he said. "I know how valuable the stone is, but I give it back in the hope that you can give me something even more precious. Give me what you have within you that enabled you to give me the stone." To me, that's what Palm Sunday and Easter's about. So, yeah. The title Middle Way is, for me, the same as walking your talk, as you know. Some of us talk about it but don't do it. Some of us do it and live it like Jesus did, and it's something I practice on a daily basis. Don't you just love those people who keep telling us what we should do and then get caught doing the opposite? Yeah. Man, as a kid, do as I say, not as I do. Never understood it, but yeah, okay. Every time I cross a line and do something, I tell other people not to do, like eating sugar or watching mind-numbing television. I'm not going to tell you what I watched last night, or avoiding a conversation that needs to be had. I feel that tight clutch in my chest that says, "Janet, you're not walking your talk." And that's what I really want to live by. So what it means exactly to me and why it matters is what they used to say, you should practice what you preach. And it's a good way to walk your talk. Walking our talk means doing what we say we'll do in the right way we say we'll do it and for the reasons we say we'll do it. And it's doing the right thing or doing it the best way with integrity. Right? Easier said than done, I'm sure. So recently I had an experience. I ended up in the hospital for 4 days. They thought I had a heart attack. I didn't, thank goodness. My heart is fine. I had an inner ear infection with vertigo. And I bent over to pick something up, and my blood pressure went from 0 to 160 over 130, like that. And I was in a high school. And so in that moment, in that classroom, the teacher took me to the nurse's office. I don't remember having to do that as a kid. Sweet lady in there. She's as sweet as she can be. She's got to be kind to those children, right? So Coach walks me in there, man. She puts that cuff on, and she's pumping my arm, and she's looking, and she's smiling at me. You'll be all right, darling. That little Texas twang. And I looked at her, and I smiled, and I had Len on the phone going, you need to get here quick. And so I'm in my panic, not doing what I normally say. I know how to meditate. I know how to be calm. I know how to pray. I know how to do all those things. And I'm on the phone with Len. And immediately she looks at her assistant, and she sweetly says, would you get this sweet lady 4 baby aspirin to chew on? And then she mouthed, and call 911. And in that moment, I'm going, Len, get here now. And I'm in a panic. I'm in an absolute panic. So here I am preaching and teaching. As a life coach, I talk about these are the tools you need to use to keep everything in balance in your life so that you won't have experiences like I did. And so, the process was they called the ambulance. The fire truck came. 6 men come walking in the room together. And the first question everybody asked me, were the firemen as good looking as they are on the calendar? Said, I don't know. I don't remember what they look like. So here I am in the back of the EMT. They get me to the hospital. They check me in as a heart patient for 3 days, and then they release me with nothing to say what happened. There was no, and then I panicked again and went back in for another day. Somebody got it, yeah. So I panicked again, and I spent a whole nother day in there. And when I left the hospital again, it was, this is what I love, she's dizzy. My husband said I could have told you that. I had vertigo, and she's dizzy. But they didn't tell me oh, stop. Yeah, you know me. So anyway, there's this process. So I'm fine. The heart's great. The brain's fine. They checked everything out. However, what came thereafter were anxiety attacks. I've had all these things come up that I've never experienced in my life before. And so here I am sitting on the couch chilling. I'm meditating, got a cat in my lap. I'm doing really well. And then this surge of something comes up, and I can't breathe, and there's a clutch on my chest, and all these. I love how you people, thank God somebody knows what I'm talking about, because I certainly did not know what this was about. And so, of course, the first thing I do is I start beating myself up, What did I do to create in my life about this? Who did I harm that I should, all that stuff that comes up. And then as I started settling in and trying to have a better understanding of what was going on, bless my husband, he's the first one I call. Okay, I can't breathe. Well, inhale, exhale. He's an engineer. A sweet one, though. And so, he doesn't know what to do, and he's the one I go to first. So about 2 weeks go by after this situation, and all of a sudden I get this call out of the blue, and it's this lady on the phone. She talks extremely fast, and she never stops talking. And so, I get this entourage of, hi, my name is Jonah, and I need you to talk to my daughter because she's having these panic attacks, and she's only here for 10 days, and I want you to work with her every day while she's here, because if you don't, she's going to go back to Colorado and have panic attacks and call me at 3 o'clock in the morning in the hospital, and they're giving her a bunch of drugs. Can you help me? And I went, man, I don't think you're calling the right person. I'm having them right now. Why would I? And the next thing she said, oh, perfect. Y'all understand each other. And she was right. And the beauty of this, I know what to do. However, God put that person in my life because I had to pull out all my tools again to share with this young lady to help her understand that there are ways to work with what we have. And there's that ability to know what to take and grab hold of. As long as I've been in Unity and New Age thought about the different tools and the practices I have, I could, if I took all the classes that I've ever taken, if I laid out all the tools that I've ever been used and had in practice, man, I'd be floating by, I'd be flying. I wouldn't be the bird, I'd be flying. Yeah, so it's that awareness of realizing, of getting out of my head and getting into my heart again, and that source that we talk so much of, about that Christ light in us and how important it is. So the part of this that really touches me is in regards to the middle way. I studied Buddhist teachings for about 3 or 4 years, having gone through school for interfaith ministerial school. And I have this Buddhist teacher for about 6 years now. And he would always say, "Oh, Janet." He's from Thailand. "Oh, Janet, you are so funny. You Westerners are so funny. You say you want to meditate, you say you want to live a life of freedom, and then you stick a phone in your ear and you're talking this way and you're interrupting somebody over here, and you just don't ever sit down." And so I kind of said, "Okay, so explain it to me." So there's different forms. So in Buddha, the middle way is not only the recommended manner of living given us by the Buddha, it is also the realization that beyond these limited, erroneous egos and puffed up personalities, we are the Buddha. We are the Christ. We are that which we talk about wanting to be. We are already that. To truly walk the middle way is to traverse this world in the knowledge that we are already enlightened. We're already it. And we spend all our time trying to figure out why we're not, which is kind of confusing. So the point, here it is, simple and easy, you guys. We just have to enlighten ourselves to the fact that we already are. Wouldn't Sunday services be so much more fun? Right? You know? And then there's that piece of being aware that I am enlightened, and I'm on the road driving over here this morning, and some loving person pulls in front of us in the pouring rain, and I'm going, "Ugh!" Try not to cuss before I get here. And then I go back to, oh, I am the enlightened one. Right? And then I go back over and say something to Lynn not so nice because I'm thinking we're going to be late. And then, oh, yeah, I'm the enlightened one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I get it. It's the practices. It's the absolute practices of what it is that we already are, that we just need to remember that we are. And so for me, Palm Sunday is like that, and Easter and the resurrection is just, it's just a beautiful part. So we want to release the pain and the anguish of the ego into the serenity of our Buddha nature, or what we call nirvana, which we call love, what we call connection. And I love that, you know, we come together in church on Sunday, like-minded people, right? We're like-minded people agreeing to what we believe and what we feel strongly about. And I know that that spirit is within me and it's within you. And then when I step out that door and Monday morning comes around and I'm in a classroom of 32 teenagers talking to them about prevention of child abuse, going like, oh my God, what was I thinking? And I have to remember to see it in them. Because they need to see it more than anybody. So, it's just a reminder. And I love the Fillmores. I love Myrtle. I like Charles, but I really love Myrtle. Because to me, Myrtle walked the talk. You know, she's the one that went in and, no offense, guys, I'm just saying Myrtle, you know, walked the talk. Not that Charles didn't, I don't know, but I'm just, anyway. So here's Myrtle, you know, with the tuberculosis, and she goes and says, I'm staying here until I heal myself, and she does. And then Charles says, hey, it works. And then he started working on himself, and then his leg grew, and all that became what this is today. So to me, that's, you know, there's the difference of talking about it and then walking it. So Myrtle says, it is the Lord God within us that we are to be devoted to love, unify ourselves with, and be obedient to. Our own spiritual self must have our attention and love and care and consideration. If we are neglecting our own spiritual development, our own health, we are not keeping this first and greatest commandment. And in that moment, I'm in that ambulance, I got it. Somewhere along the way, I forgot about myself once again. Somewhere along the way, I'd been talking the talk, but not walking it as well as I could have. And thank goodness it was a gentle spiritual 2x4. You know? But it was powerful enough to help me understand what my husband and my family's been trying to tell me for a while now. And so I'm more aware, I'm more alert, and I'm more in the moment. You know, how's my body feeling this morning right when I wake up? When I wake up, it's not about, oh, God, here we go again. It's, oh, God, thank you, here we go again. It's about once my feet hit the floor, the room is not spinning, yay. I mean, I don't know if y'all have had vertigo, but that's a pretty scary thing. So, anyway, it's about being able to honor ourselves. I mean, if we really do believe that we're the children of God and that we really are the daughter and the son of Jesus, then why do we treat each other the way we do? If Jesus, I love what you said in your meditation earlier about that love of that child. On the way down here on NPR, they had to talk about a statue. They've created a statue of Jesus as a homeless person on a bench in areas of cities and the reaction that it's getting. Y'all hear about that? Oh my goodness. Some people are calling the police right off the bat, get this dude off the bench, you know? And then others are saying they walk over and they sit and notice who he is first and then become one with Jesus. So, day in and day out. How do we know that person on the street corner isn't? I don't know. So in unity, we honor Jesus as the way shower. Charles Fillmore said the word crucifixion means the crossing out in consciousness of certain errors that have become fixed states of mind. And this is what we do. We get in our comfort zone, and I've practiced all these new tools. I got it down. I've been working it for a month. But then something happens in my life that causes chaos, and where do we go? Back to the comfort zone of the old behaviors. So the more I practice, the stronger that gets, and eventually the other goes by the wayside. So Jesus' physical crucifixion symbolizes the crossing out of worldly consciousness. The resurrection symbolizes a new awakening to truth, the truth that each of us is an expression of the one power and one presence that Jesus called the Father. When he said, the Father and I are one, Charles Fillmore said, true resurrection within us lifts up all the faculties of mind until they conform to the absolute idea of the divine mind. Okay? So, I don't know if you guys remember this or know this. The saying of Jesus on the cross, also known as the 7 last words of Christ. Are you familiar with that one? They're the 7 expressions that Jesus is reported to have uttered during his crucifixion. So Palm Sunday is the preparation of releasing, of letting go and clearing yourself and opening yourself up to that opportunity of becoming that Christ light or that Jesus. So I want to share these 7 more tools for you to practice. So I have the biblical aspect of it, and I'm going to ask a question and just think about it, and then we'll affirm together if you're okay with doing that. So Luke 23:34, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Forgiveness in Aramaic, unlike in Greek, is not something that one does for another, but it is an internal process of allowing the acceptance of the truth, the Father, to free us from our attachments to thoughts, to form, and to the past. Okay? So I'm going to ask yourself, where am I bound by attachments to my thoughts, my beliefs, my perceived mistakes and judgments? Now don't go there and start beating yourself up. Just take a look at it for a minute. It's okay. We're human. Now we're going to affirm, I'll say it once, I am free from all limiting thoughts and judgments. I untie the knots that bind me. Together, I am free from all limiting thoughts and judgments. I untie the knots that bind me. Luke 23:43, today you will be with me in paradise. When Jesus was on the cross, there were 2 others as well, one on either side. One of them said to Jesus, if you are really the Son of God, save yourself and save us too. The other said, remember me when you come into your kingdom. The first was aware only of the current experience, me having a panic attack, only in the current experience. He was focused on the physical condition. The other was aware of something more, something beyond, like the kingdom. In that moment, in his conscious recognition, he was at once in the consciousness of heaven. Jesus was not giving him a dispensation. He was reflecting to him his own awareness and confirming that his recognition of the truth in that moment had set him free. So I ask you, in what ways are you focusing solely on your physical experience and serving that which is not your eternal truth? Just ask him. And in that moment, we affirm, in this moment, I commit myself to serving my truth. The truth of my being sets me free. Together. In this moment, I commit myself to serving my truth, and the truth of my being sets me free. And in John 19:26, woman, behold your son. Then he said to the disciple whom he loved, behold your mother. Not only was Jesus honoring his biological mother, he was also recognizing the spiritual brotherhood of the disciples. It is this statement of oneness. We are all each other's mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers. Blood does not determine our kinship. We are one in the family of God. If we really believe what we say we believe, not just in here, out there, we are all one. So, where do you separate yourself from others with labels? Whether it's gender, nationality, race, religion, age, or any other label I might assign to another. Just a thought. And together we can affirm, I am one with all life. Together. I am one with all life. Okay. Matthew 27:46, my God, why have you forsaken me? This has been translated, this phrase, my God, for this I was spared. In other words, it is for this purpose that I am here. Jesus had stated his purpose earlier when being interrogated by Pilate, as quoted in John 18:37. For this I was born, and for this very thing I came into the world, that I may bear witness concerning truth. So this man lived for truth, period. That was it. Jesus stood in his truth. He walked his talk. He lived what he was trying us to show all of us that we can also be. So whoever is of that truth will hear my voice. So I ask you, where in our life am I not hearing witness to the truth of oneness with God and with all creation? Just a thought. For this is the affirmation, for this I came into the world to bear witness to the truth of oneness. And you are. When I watch you walk through that door, you are. Your face lights up, you hug each other, you're so glad to see you. Do you do that out on the streets with a stranger? Maybe not so much. You got to be a little careful, but you know. People in the office. No, okay. Okay, so for this I came into the world. Say it with me. For this I came into the world. To bear witness to the truth of oneness. John 19:28, I thirst. Our greatest desire is to know ourselves as God expressing. Greatest. It is for that and for that only that we truly thirst. Often we search for the experience of God in people, places, and things. There is nothing in the external that can satisfy our thirst for God. Recall the story of Jesus and the woman at the well. He said to her, everyone who drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water which I give him shall never thirst. But the same water which I give him shall become to him a well of water springing up to life everlasting. So where do we attempt to satisfy our thirst for God by attempting to drink from the well of the world of form? Whether that is money, another person, status, or any other form of attachment. Mine's Dr. Pepper. I try. I affirm all that I desire is here and now present as the life of God within me. Together, all that I desire is here and now. present as the life of God within me. In John 19:30, it is finished. The physical work is done. The surrender is complete. We can now let go and let God. So just gently ask yourself, where am I still holding on, and what am I not willing to release at this moment? So just the process and awareness. Not to wallow in it, not to bring it up over and over, not to beat yourself up with it. Just be aware of that one little piece, because we all have that. We're human. The question is are you ready to let it go? And if you're not, that's okay. It really is okay. You can keep it as long as you want. It's not as much fun, but you can keep it. So we affirm together, I let go and I let God. I let go and I let God. Luke 23:46, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. The transformation is done. So the Lenten season, I know, has been a process for some. Some just talk about it. Some really do it. But as it comes to closing, it is that excitement of just being aware of what that process really can mean for each and every one of us. So ask yourself now, are you ready and willing to embrace yourself as the Christ? How often have you been able to stand there and tell somebody, and I had this experience the other day, that I am the Christ. Yeah. I'm the Christ. Yeah, I am. I was speaking in one of the high schools, and there was a substitute teacher. There wasn't the regular teacher. And this awesome man, I meet so many different people, he had just come back from Kenya, had been there for 10 years teaching in the schools in Kenya. And his wife was missionary. So that right there, that, you know, in my mind, it's like, okay, prepare thyself for blocking. Automatic reaction, right? So we got to talking, and I shared myself in the regards of studying, you know, being Christian-based and having studied in a number of different churches growing up, and then now been with Unity since 1986. And he just kind of sweetly nodded his head. And I said, and I'm studying, you know, the interfaith, the different religions, because I believe that we are all one. And he went, oh, no, we're not. And I went, okay. And I could bless him in that moment, because his truth is his truth. And he's blessed a lot of people and made difference in Kenya and other people's lives. I just know that I can only go so far in conversation with them, but it's not me, you know, to deny what his truth is wrong or right or otherwise. And so being able to stand in that space, loving him, no matter what, is what we're about. So, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. And let's affirm together, I embrace myself as the Christ. Together, I embrace myself as the Christ. So as we work together, there's reasons we celebrate Palm Sunday and Easter. It's not, you know, just the celebration of the Easter. I still don't know where the eggs came from. Well, I know where the egg came from. I just don't know where the bunny came from with the eggs. Anyway, we surrender to the myths, the messages and beliefs that we allow to limit our full acceptance and expression of the truth. We allow the crucifixion to take place in our consciousness, and we are resurrected into new life as the consciousness, awareness of the Christ we are. And we stand in the middle way without our erroneous egos puffed up and our personalities in the way. And we can acknowledge and say, I am that. I am that spirit. I am that, and you are that, and we are that. No matter what's going on outside of us. And I stand in that as much as I can. Walking our talk means living in integrity, living our lives based on the truths we say we believe. So how much do you really believe that you're the Christ in the everyday world? If what we tell the world is different from what we believe, then we need to change our words to more accurately reflect what we feel. If we want people to believe and trust us, then we need to show up with precise authenticity. That's walking our talk. So, as the wise woman said, that gentleman said to the wise woman, give me what you have within you that enabled you to give me the stone. I want that. I want to be that. I want to walk that. I want to ooze that. So let's move forward today into Easter and do that together. Thank you.